Good morning, everyone. It's Tuesday. We're here at 8 West. It's a gorgeous day so far.
It is. We've had some improvement in that department over the last 24 hours. It was a rough start to the week, a rough end to last week, and a rough start to this week. But at least weather-wise, we're starting to improve things.
Yeah, and actually a really busy week nationally and here in West Michigan. Of course, we are getting ready to have the body brought home of former First Lady Betty Ford. She'll be laid to rest on Thursday, and we actually tomorrow in 8 West have a very special show honoring Betty's life and some stories that we've been able to do to really bring attention to the big strides that she's done as a First Lady and a former resident of Grand Rapids in West Michigan.
Yeah, and that's some of the great things that she did for us. I mean, not only was she the wife of Gerald Ford, but also, I mean, her name is all around the city. Her name is known so well to Grand Rapids and the people here.
Right.
And, I mean, the fact that she's going to be coming home, they've of course had the doors of the Ford Presidential Museum open 24/7 since, I believe, Friday night is when they opened them.
And you had the chance to go down with your mom, didn't you?
I did. You know, this is something that we heard about for a couple of days, and they had something similar when President Ford passed away. But it was something that we just kind of wanted to do. I mean, being a resident of Grand Rapids, being born here, I thought it was something really important. So on Sunday, after I was done at work, we just kind of strolled downtown, and we did go into the Ford Museum. Now, it wasn't open completely because it was a Sunday, but they did have the little foyer open where you walk in and you could sign those condolences books. So out in front, this is actually one of our friends from Chicago who came into town and also really wanted to go sign the book and pay her respects to the former First Lady. So out in front of the beautiful fountain in the building itself, and then we went inside and we did sign the book, and it was really interesting because pages and pages had just been filled. Now, there wasn't a huge line out the door when we signed, but just something really special to leave a note, sign your name. Some people had written a lot. Some people just signed their name, but many people putting their locations and where they were from, and to just discover the wide reaches that she had. Just on the same page that I signed on were two people from Illinois, was a person from Oklahoma, and somebody, believe it or not, from Denmark.
From Denmark?
Who had signed, and that their location, whether it be present or past, but just to display how many lives she touched and how important she is to not only the city and our country, but even known worldwide.
And it's interesting over the years and the coverage that we've been able to see nationally and locally to really shine the spotlight on the many things that she did as a woman who was ahead of her time, really, and spoke about things that not only, you know, weren't really talked about at the time, but that First Ladies don't usually talk about, you know, being very public on her stands on different issues. It was very interesting to kind of hear what she's done. Of course, we've had some great exhibitions at the Ford Museum honoring Betty's life, and so that's some of what we're going to get to talk about tomorrow. And, you know, the opportunity that you took advantage of still exists down at the Ford Museum and will obviously be there for few more days.
Still open, so if anybody does want to go down and sign the book or leave a note or even just take a look at the book and walk in, they have a nice little tribute set up there. But I think it really hits home that she did so many wonderful things. I don't know if I could have, you know, gone the extra mile like she did, so it's just a tremendous amount of respect.
Yeah, it really, really is. Well, changing gears a little bit here, we've got lots to talk about today, but first, Laura, you know, we're talking now about looking back and reflecting. I had the opportunity to do something like that this weekend when I was on the lakeshore in Grand Haven. Every year, they hold one of the best car shows that I think that I've ever experienced. The old cars that come in, and it was the Wheels of Grand Haven was taking over the downtown, and I snapped a couple pictures because it really kind of took me back a little bit. And this,
look how cool,
double-decker bus,
an old one.
Yeah, an old one too. This is a Leland Titan. This was made in England. And
it looks English.
Operates, yeah, it does, because we don't really, you know, take advantage of those. And operated in Scotland before it was brought to Bronson, Missouri, and then from there, a couple from Grand Rapids acquired it, and they had it as part of the show. And we went inside, and my daughter was very confused, and the owner was great because he was in it. He was talking about the bus and the history of it, and she said, they said, next time you get on a bus, to my daughter, you got to ask where the upstairs is, and they'll probably think you're a little crazy because most buses don't have an upstairs like our bus here.
Yes, I bet that it was a little confusing because there were those stairs that go up, and where are we going? I don't go upstairs in a car, even on school buses. You have the couple that lead up. But how neat! I love how all these old cars have a story, and the owners take such pride in them, and they stand by them, and they know where they were made and what they were made and the type of engine and the exact name of the color paint and everything else that.
Yeah, and that happened to be a foreign-made vehicle, but a lot of them were American-made. And it's really great to see the rich history, and especially being residents of Michigan, to be able to see what they have there. This next picture that you're about to see, that's a Chevy Bel Air.
That is sharp.
How cool is that? You know, it's cool to see how cars have changed, and then to see the great care that has gone into this great, rich history we have as a state and a country of automakers. And they were all on display, and it's so cool. But, you know, this was one that took place in Grand Haven this past weekend, but they're all over in the summertime. Just a really fun way to kind of go back and take a step through time and really appreciate how far we've come, and really some of the really great detail that we've been innovators as a country and car makers to share.
So excellent of everyone to share their cars and history with everybody else.
Yeah, a really cool opportunity. Well, we also want to thank Mary from Ginkgo Studios, because our studio is actually looking extra bright this morning.
Nice and bright.
Sunflowers here.
Good choice there, and our producer was actually mentioning something about them being at the farmer's market.
Yes.
So this is like we have all the time, they're just blooming. And
I think sunflowers are really in bloom, because I even picked up some sunflowers at the farmer's market this past weekend when I went, and they were at a great deal. 2 big bunches for $5. And so, Mary, thank you so much for brightening up our studio. Ginkgo Studios on Cherry Street, Grand Rapids.
Absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely.